Today I'm going to be changing the impeller in my trusty old 5 horsepower Tohatsu. It's a 2-stroke engine, single cylinder. I have never changed the impeller in the last 3 years or so, so it's long overdue. The engine's seen better days, but it's good, trusty, reliable, and it pushes me mini cobble along quite nicely. To get at the impeller, I'm going to have to remove this 10mm bolt underneath. There is a 13mm bolt, and behind this rubber grommet, I'll pull it out with the aid of a Swiss Army knife. Should be another 10mm bolt. I'm going to have to switch it into reverse, which pull that bolt down. You can just see it there. That'll disengage the gear linkage. Once I've removed the 10 to 13 mil bolts and that, the leg should come off. You can see as the lower unit's starting to drop, that bolt on the gear linkage is coming further down while it's in reverse. I'm leaving one of the bolts still semi-connected with a couple of threads until I disengage the gear linkage, just so that I don't put too much strain on the gear linkage and the gearbox drops. Now that the gear linkage is disengaged and the 2 bolts are removed, the lower unit should just slide straight off. I'll probably have to tilt the engine to get it off because I'm a bit close to the ground here. Now that the lower unit's removed, you can see there are 4 bolts on the top of the pump housing. I'm going to have to remove them, and the pump housing should just slide straight up. Once I've removed each of these 10mm bolts, I should be able to lift the plastic pump housing up the drive shaft. Now that all the 10mm bolts are out, I should be able to remove this pipe. Okay, maybe I can't remove the pipe. A little bit of persuasion and it's come out. This just slides up the drive shaft. There's my old impeller. It's not very good. Blades are going in different directions. That one's split quite badly. Yeah, it was about due a change. Here you can see the 2 impellers. That's a brand new one, what it's supposed to look like. And that little space invader looking thing, this is the one I've just taken out. One stupid beginner mistake I've just made. When I took the impeller off, I should have watched out for the key which goes against the drive shaft. As it happens, it fell on my trailer lid. To fit the new impeller, simply slide it down the drive shaft. There's a little notch out of it which lines up with the key. That's it. Now the motor rotates clockwise, so that each of the blades on the impeller should actually be curled over slightly anti-clockwise. There's a little trick to doing this. I'm just going to show you it. Basically, good old-fashioned washing up liquid. For a tiny little bit on the blades of the impeller, just to lubricate it. We're not talking much, we're not talking great big dollops or squeezes. Put the housing back on. Get it near enough lined up, like so, and rotate the drive shaft in a clockwise direction and push down gently. One last check that all the blades are pointing in an anti-clockwise direction, and continue the rotation. That's it. All the blades should now be perfectly aligned in an anti-clockwise direction. Bolt the housing back down. I'm going to pour a little bit of grease on each of these bolts, just so they come out easier in future. Tighten the bolts on opposite sides to each other first, just so the pump housing goes down evenly. That's it. I'm going to give the drive shaft a rub down and a bit of a grease before I reassemble it. Now that it's all greased up, it's time to put the lower unit back on the leg. Just had a little bit of a faff on getting the leg back together. The drive shaft didn't want to go in. I'm just tightening up the pinch on it. Again, the bolts for the legs I'm going to put a little bit of grease on. Nip it up reasonably tight. I've loosened off the linkage again. I've put the engine into reverse, and now this little stub, and make sure it's pressed down, which should put the boat into reverse. Then tighten back up again. Put the rubber bung in and we're good to go. There we go. Let's fire it up, see if it runs okay. As you can see, pumping plenty of water now.